Most people step on the scale thinking it tells them everything they need to know about their health, fitness, and progress. But what if I told you that your body weight is one of the least useful numbers you could track? From Wits and Weights, I'm Philip Pape, and this is Nutrition Science Daily, bringing you the latest in nutrition, fat loss, and health science, all in under 5 minutes. A recent study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition breaks down why body composition, not just weight, is critical to understand for your health, muscle mass, and fat distribution. And today we are talking about why relying on the scale alone can be highly misleading and how to use more accurate tools to measure what matters. Now, your body weight fluctuates constantly by multiple pounds potentially every day based on your hydration, the glycogen stored in your muscles, the food volume and gut content, even your stress and inflammatory response from strength training. It doesn't tell you how much muscle you have. For example, over time, you could gain 5 pounds, but if 4 of those are muscle, you've actually improved your body fat percentage and your body composition. It doesn't tell you where fat is stored. Visceral fat around your organs is far more concerning than subcutaneous fat under the skin, but the scale can't tell the difference. And also, if you lose weight over time, but you're not maintaining muscle, that's going to not only slow your metabolism, but make your body fat percentage worse and make fat loss harder in the future, and you're probably going to gain more fat back and have even higher body fat percentage. So that is why tracking body composition, which is simply the ratio of your lean mass to fat mass, is much more useful than fixating on the number on the scale. Unlike that number, unlike scale weight, body composition assessments, whether it's through tests and fancy scans or what I'm going to tell you, a very simple way to do that at home, they're going to tell you your muscle versus fat balance, right? Because a high body weight isn't bad at all if it's mostly muscle. Very lean, athletic people tend to have a higher body weight, but they're carrying a lot more muscle and they have a lower body fat percentage than someone else. So they're leaner, they're toner. They almost look thinner in a way, but in a healthy way, I'll call it. They're not actually thin, quote unquote, but they have more muscle and less body fat. Risk factors for disease, being able to measure your roundness and your waist size are going to tell you more about visceral fat, the organ fat, which is linked to increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and metabolic disease. And then the impact of your diet and training. If you're eating enough protein and you are strength training, you should see muscle retention during a fat loss phase or muscle growth during a building phase. And that's far more important than the scale. So as far as how do you track this, right? That's the next question. Not all methods are created equal. I will say that any of the more expensive tests like DEXA scans or the BodPod, they are fairly accurate. They're very expensive and they're hard to get to, however, and they're not that much more accurate than less expensive methods. Bioelectrical impedance, you might see that on smart scales or in the gym with the InBody. I don't really like those. They're highly sensitive to your hydration. And so I'm not a big fan of those. And then that brings me to calipers and tape measurements. I think these are simple, they're affordable. You know, they might have some error built in, but for a given individual, you ignore the number itself and you pay more attention to the change over time. So it's a great way to show you from A to B, did you gain or lose a certain amount of body fat? I use it with clients all the time. We use tape measurements. Look up the Navy formula or go to witsandweights.com and click calculators, and you'll see a way to do that very simply with tape measurements. The only other way really is to look at your progress photos, right, to see the visual change. And a lot of people will see themselves improve visually even without scale weight changing when they start lifting weights and they start, eating more protein. They don't give you a number, but they give you a real world look at how you've changed your physique. And then of course your performance, right? If your strength is going up, that's a great sign of body composition improvements. So instead of worrying about what the scale says, even though I would definitely encourage tracking your scale weight, I think it's an important metric to do that every day and using averages over time. The problem is we tend to freak out over small changes. So you should also be measuring the other metrics, right? Your waist and hip measurements, calculating your body fat, using your progress photos, looking at your performance, getting stronger, feeling better, your biofeedback, the list goes on and on. Too much to cover in a 5-minute episode that I'm already going long on. But the point is that the scale is just one tool and it doesn't tell you nearly the full story. If you're trying to build muscle, lose fat, actually improve your health and body composition, you have to track the right metrics. All right. And if you want support on how to use body composition data to reach your goals, join our Wits and Weights Facebook group. It's a community of like-minded lifters, evidence-based nutrition nerds who know that progress is more than just the number on the scale. And tomorrow we're going to segue into how diet and body composition interact in individuals with disabilities. A very interesting topic, and I think this is going to be a fascinating episode to check out. So hit follow so you don't miss that episode.